This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all good. So I'm joined today by Belise, who's also known as Btalks on Instagram and YouTube. So you are a property investor, hence why you're on my channel. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
So yeah, as Leah said, my name is Belise. I'm known as Btalks. I do have a YouTube channel as well where I show my journey into property. When I started in property in 2015, and I started first by being involved in a business partnership that didn't end so well.
Okay.
And then followed by, after that, I proceeded to just basically go solo and started investing in property through joint ventureships, and I still do that till today. And also run a property lettings and management company as well here in Birmingham.
Amazing. So you touched on the fact that you were working with a company and that didn't end too well. So what happened there?
So yeah, initially when I first started in property, I set myself two options. I just finished university. Yeah, I met through a person. I met a couple who I then proceeded to engage, who I started in property with. They're already initially involved in property, so I thought, okay, this would be a very great way and opportunity for me to sort of learn about property whilst I suppose in a way practically being involved in doing and also running a business. So the couple invited me and asked me to become a part of the company, so join the actual business itself and become a director.
Yeah.
And I did that like for two years, going into sort of 3 years, and then following that, the first year it was all good, second year it was also good, but as time went on, I started to realize that maybe perhaps how they have portrayed themselves or how they had shown themselves to be, to me, may not have been the truth. And I suppose their true colors started showing or coming through.
Yeah.
And I started realizing that maybe the whole business partnership was not to my interest, and mostly to their interest and beneficial more to them. So for example, I'll give you an example of what was happening. I was a director, but I didn't have access to the accounts. Do you see what I mean? So
yeah.
At first I thought to myself, let me not say anything, because I wanted to be in property. This is something I enjoyed, and I thought this was the only way and opportunity that I could learn about property.
Yeah.
And still engage in property, not necessarily paying as well towards sort of mentorships and everything like that, because I thought this is a win-win situation for me. I was a director on the company, but I didn't have access to the actual accounts. Later on, in hindsight, obviously I was quite naive of me, and also the contracts and everything, the agreements that I had signed at the time, I suppose because of my ambition at the time, I was blinded to seeing what was actually being done. Yeah. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? What else? Yeah, so I didn't have access to the accounts. So money would come in, for example. And at first the idea is that if you're a director and if there's people who have interest in the business as well, they get an equal share and all that sort of stuff, So that's just normal. But as time went on, I started realizing that I was being shortchanged, to say the least. But not just that, just everything, the whole, how I wanted to utilize the company, because obviously I was on there.
Yeah.
I thought the way it was supposed to be done, or the agreement was, everybody gets an equal share. Yeah, everyone has a share in the company, but whenever I wanted to use a company to further advance myself, for example, let's say for instance, invest in other ventures using the company, that became a no-no. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
Yeah, when I initially started in property, for me it wasn't so great. I was involved in a partnership that didn't go so well, but now it's all good.
Yeah, so I guess that was like a really big challenge, but you've come out
absolutely
better.
Absolutely. I have come out a bit better. I've come out of that more wiser. And I think it's so important to people to understand that obviously sometimes things are presented to you such a good way that
Yeah.
you think, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. But you have to take your time with things. And at the time, I suppose on my part, it was a big lesson in that I was quite naive, and mainly I realized that sometimes ambition is a good thing, but some people want to, because of ambition, sometimes you will accept a lot of things.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? So that was my fault on my part, to be fair. But all in all, though, it's positive because I have learned a lot from property as a result of it.
Yeah.
And I have been able to get myself this far because of that experience as well. So whilst that happened, it's all behind me now, just about. It's all behind me. It's good in terms of it has assisted me in my journey in property.
Yeah. And what is your current strategy?
My current strategy, so it's quite a variety at the moment, but it's predominantly HMOs. So residential HMOs, so converting 2-3 bedroom houses into 5 to 6, or even sometimes more, 7. Currently I've got a 7-bed HMO that I'm carrying out a renovation on. And also I do have rent to rents, which I do show as well, and service accommodation, but that is not as much. I do more on the rent to HMO strategy as well. But I'd say, yeah, I do a few flips on joint ventureships, and yeah, buy to lets on joint ventureships, but it's predominantly HMOs.
Yeah. So do you prefer HMOs to service accommodation?
I do prefer HMOs to service accommodation, and I think we spoke about this, you remember last time?
Yeah.
Because actually service accommodation is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, so I do prefer sort of HMOs, and even if I'm doing a rent to rent as well, I prefer doing a rent to rent on an HMO rather than a service accommodation.
Yeah. So what challenges do you kind of face day to day? So I know you've had like obviously the bad past, but like what day-to-day challenges do you have?
Day-to-day challenges. So if I'm talking about sort of the management aspect of things, just the general dealing with like tenants and all that stuff, that's more on the the management aspect of things, property management, that type of thing. You're having to deal with tenants and their problems, and it becomes your problems. I'm talking about this and I'm smiling because last night I was dealing with a tenant who had an issue, and it's not necessarily my issue, but I was like, okay, well, it's our issue now, so we're gonna have to like work on it together type of thing, so that you keep them happy, and you're continuously I suppose with the management aspect of things, you're in it, you're involved in it from landlords aspect of things who have their properties, trying to keep them happy. Same time, all the tenants that you're working and they're in their properties, you're making sure they too are happy. It's a 24/7 dealing with multiple people as well, and sometimes not necessarily external members of the team, I'd say. So you're finding yourself, I'd say the challenge on that aspect of things is every single day it's literally you dealing with problems and trying to solve problems, if that makes any sense. And from a investment part of things, I'd say problem would be sometimes raising funds can be a challenge, but also sometimes I find it annoying that a lot of times your money gets tied in a lot of projects. So you have a lot of money that's, because in my opinion, to be in property, it's quite cash heavy. So you're finding yourself, whatever deals you're going or involving yourself in, you're tying your money in a lot of different pots, and it's just there. And that can be obviously, can be strenuous on yourself. It can be stressful sometimes. But you probably, you'll agree in that, it's cash heavy. So you have to know where your money is coming from, and I suppose build different streams of income, because sometimes it is a case of your money is tied away in one deal and another deal, then you've got this project, you've got renovation here, so that can be a challenge of its own, in my opinion. I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, for sure. And what advice have you got for newbies who might want to get into property?
I think for young people, because you're 22 and you're already obviously involved in property, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think most of the times it's to do with mindset, us having this perception that investing in property is maybe an old person's game, or, you know, more mature individual, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And first and foremost is working on your mindset, because anything is possible provided you have your mindset correctly patterned.
Yeah.
You face so much challenges that if your mindset isn't set up correctly, you can give up easily.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you'll just quit because you'll be like, oh my god, it's too hard.
It's too hard, exactly. But so that's why I think my first tip is working on your mindset and your understanding. Second tip would be obviously investing in some learning. You know, don't go into anything blindly. Don't go into anything without you know, sort of guidance. And I think especially in property, it's not rocket science. I think once you get a grip and understanding of how it all works, you'll see it's so simple and straightforward sometimes. But investing in your learning and understanding in whatever you want to do is very important, and that is the same with property. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. So have you got any like books or podcasts that you recommend people listen to?
So yeah, I don't listen to podcasts as much, and the podcasts that I listen to, they're not really property related.
Right.
They're just more so business related. But if I'm talking specifically about property, what I tend to do is I do read a lot of articles. I'm also subscribed to a lot of these networking groups.
Yeah.
And some of them produce their own magazines, so like YPN have their own.
Yeah.
Which you can get on a monthly basis, and people will just, you know, and the reason why I like this is because people who are involved in property are literally just taking from their own experience and just putting it in an article.
Yeah.
This is what I've been doing, this is the challenges and so on. So I quite prefer that. But I haven't started on listening to podcasts. But I know Leah, I have been following Leah, and I've watched your podcast suggestions. So I'll be looking at some of those that you suggested.
Yeah, I do really love podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something like more relaxed about them than like books.
Yeah,
They're just
I suppose
quite
it's
chill.
because you put them, you know, you can be driving and just listening to a podcast. You know what I mean? So,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So at the minute, what deals have you got going on, if you can tell us?
So the good thing, today I actually went to collect the keys to a 3-bedroom house.
Oh, amazing.
That, we will be starting, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, we're going to start work on that. We're converting it into a 5-bed, so it's going to be a smaller one.
Yeah.
But currently, I have a 7-bed conversion that's taking place. So, and I'm vlogging
How
the
exciting.
process,
Yeah, so you like vlogging the whole thing?
I do vlog the whole, well, this one, because I had secured, we had bought it before I started vlogging.
Right,
I didn't
okay.
get to show the start to finish process.
Yeah.
But the one I picked up the keys to today, that's going to be vlogged from beginning all the way to the end, watching the whole builders, getting everyone in there, starting work. But the 7-bed convention, I have done a vlog just giving people a tour of what we've done and the work that we've carried out. Yeah.
How exciting. And do you work with your partner, or?
I work with, I do have a really good support system that's made up of family members, partner.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's made up of a few people that, they're closely related. And yeah.
How do you find it working with family?
I like it. My family is, I've got a small family, but we're a very close-knit family. And also we're all very, when I say all, I'm literally just, I've got one brother and one sister. I'm making it sound as if I have a whole heap of like cousins. I have no cousins, nothing.
Really?
Yeah. Not because let me rephrase that. Basically, I do have cousins, but they don't live here. So
okay.
So you don't have no cousins. Like, what's the problem? But no, I have cousins. But when I say cousins, like in this country, it's literally made up of my brother, my sister, myself. That we have nobody else outside of that. We don't have. I don't have cousins, which I wish I did, because I always envy people who have cousins and they can go to like, this is my best friend, he's a cousin. I don't have any of that.
Oh.
But they're like back home and stuff in Africa, so they're not like close by.
Yeah.
So what that has done for us, I suppose, is made us even more closer as the trio that we are.
Yeah.
So my sister, my brother and I, we all work together. We're all involved in the businesses, company, everything like that. And also we all we think the same and we have a similar mindset. So it kind of helps in getting along and sticking to sort of goals and everything, because we all share exactly. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But that's not to say that we don't fight. That's not what I'm saying here. Like, we still argue, we still fight, we still have disagreements, especially in business. You know, ideas, everything like that. We have to have a few takes before we come to a decision. So that's good.
That's really cute. Have you got any advice for anyone who's working with their family?
I suppose it depends on you. Like, every family is different. And I've spoken to people who wouldn't necessarily work with their family. They say that it just wouldn't work for them.
Right.
Whilst I've spoken to people who actually think, you know, if you're starting out, for me, it has worked out because my family, we are very close knit.
Yeah.
But also we have got a good relationship, and we kind of have set boundaries in terms of when it's business and so on and so forth. But it really depends on you and your tolerance as well, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because you work with your mom, and what do you think in terms of, I mean, you work with family, I would say that she too works with family. Like, what do you think? I think it really is dependent on a person.
Yeah, and I think me and Mum are quite similar.
Yeah.
I think probably because she is my mum, so we were always quite close when I was growing up. So I think naturally we just think very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think it's good for keeping costs down. If we're talking business-wise, it's costs down, and as long as everybody's on the same page, it doesn't matter whether you're working with non-family members and so on. It's always the same case. People are people anyways. You're gonna get problems from people you're not related to, just as you will get problems with people who you're related with.
Yeah.
I suppose it depends on you, and obviously setting the boundary from the beginning, having rules in place, just talking seriously about, okay, well, this is a business and we're dealing with it as a business. Associate, you know, just, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it. I think that's all I can say to that.
Yeah. And have you had any challenges being a woman in property?
Ooh, yes, I have.
Tell us.
Being in property as a woman, when I first got started, because I was young, also being young in property is another thing. I don't know if you would feel the same. Being young in property, number one, I think for me it was more so being young in property than being a female in property.
Right, okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because straight away people think that maybe you're just not clued on, or maybe you're not. Do you know what I'm?
Yeah. Like you don't know what
you're talking about, you know? And
yeah.
I'm like, girl, yo, I got a long degree, you know? Listen to me. No, the issues I had was whenever I pitched to some investors. So when I was working in 2015 in that business partnership that I was on about earlier, I would do a lot of pitches to investors. So this is just literally people who are, you know, they've got a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of time, and they're looking for ways to invest and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But also at the same time looking for opportunities of where they can put their money so their money can work better for them. So I'd do like in a week, maybe I'd have like 3 appointments with 3 different with different investors. Some are families, some it's like individual businessmen as well, and women.
Yeah.
And most of the times I was presenting to men.
Right, okay.
And I was pitching to men more than women.
Yeah.
And the only time I'd pitch to women would be when it was like a couple or something. That's when I'd meet. Otherwise, I wouldn't meet as many women.
Right.
Now, my first few, I'm going to give you 2 experiences. One was with 2 businessmen who were from Switzerland, and they came and I was pitching to them like a proposal for like a property proposal for a deal and everything like that, and how we would package it, sharing with them everything that we're aiming to do and so on and so forth. And this was their behavior. I was like, okay, well, we're gonna start the meeting. Literally nothing. I had nothing. You know when people are like receptive, there was nothing there. And I was thinking to myself, okay, well, maybe because I'm a female, that's why. And they proceeded, no, we're gonna do this, right, like this. And I'm like, okay, well, I have a whole agenda that I was sat last night actually putting in place and putting, setting for our meeting.
Yeah.
And they literally came in, and I think they saw me, and it literally changed their whole attitude. And sometimes you can just tell by people's facial expressions, like there's no hiding it. And I wasn't blind to it. I think maybe that may have, their reaction was maybe because I was a female. Yeah. But I suspect maybe more my age at the time, and more than anything. So they associate maybe age with whether you have the capability. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we get this. So I'd say I've experienced more so my age being used against me than me being a female. Yeah. If that makes any sense. Do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
No, I think the same. I think probably people are more like, oh, you're only like 22.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a girl.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, don't let that stop you. Yeah. But that's the thing. So the only other experience I can think of was actually from women.
Oh wow.
I know this is shocker, but I think, and also think this is more so to do with the fact that we always associate property to being a man's world. So when you see a female in property, some women actually, it's a bit more of a shock to them as well. Just and to be fair, she was with her husband at the time, so it was more, she was expecting maybe a man to present and pitch to her and talk about property investment and talking about ROIs and everything. So she was a bit taken back.
Right. Okay.
So not more so to do with just, I think, which is strange. I know this is so weird, but that's the only other experience I've ever had where I felt, so she was a bit funny with me. But I really personally bring it down to, I think it's a thing of not many women are seen in property. So also women themselves get shocked when they do see other women. Does that make sense? Yeah. But we're gonna get rid of that. I mean, Leah's already on that. So.
Yeah, I feel like times have changed. Yeah. To be fair, I do think that there is a lot of women in property, but I think that they're probably not as high key about it. As men are. So. Yeah. Cool. It's been good. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on my channel. So where can people find you?
You can follow me on Instagram. I post there frequently. I just update on my daily life in property specifically. But also I do have a YouTube channel, which you're welcome to go and follow if you want. I do vlog and just talk generally about entrepreneurship and business and mindset. Yeah.
Cool. I'll make sure I leave links in the description bar below so you can go and check it out.
Thank you, Leah.
It's okay. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Leah_Miller, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Sa la 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 la.